And with that announcement of the starting lineups, Floorball fans, it's just about time for primetime NAFL playoff action as we come here to our second playoff semifinal of the day, live from the Duluth Entertainment Convention Center Arena in downtown Duluth, Minnesota. It's the Texas 39ers versus the Minnesota Growlers as both jockey for a chance at the Troy Cup during the final tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Heading into today, this is what your playoff bracket looked like. The Fresno Force came out ahead 7-4 against the Fort Worth Jaguars in the early semifinal. Now, the winner of today's match will advance to play Fresno tomorrow as they look to be crowned the champion of the 2024 NAFL season. This playoff match is a direct rematch of a game yesterday versus the Texas 39ers and the Minnesota Growlers, with the Growlers coming ahead over the 39ers. However, they were resting some of their key talent who's returning to the court today, meaning this is going to be a fascinating match to watch as we head down for the face-off. It's going to be Lou against Letanimi. Recovery by Yuso Letanimi pushing in Texas territory, but Peter Lindgren comes away with it. He passes to Liliagran. Yesterday, the Growlers came away with a 7-3 victory. However, absent from the court was Oscar Liliagran, Tim Anderson-Carlson, and Carl Paulbrandt for the 39ers, looking to do load management to keep their players fresh for this matchup today. However, the last time these two teams met during our second week of play from Clarksville, Tennessee, the Minnesota Growlers came away with a then upset win over the Texas 39ers, 6-4. Now Peter Lindgren in the center lane, passes far side to Lou. Back out to Lindgren. Lindgren passes down to Silacek. As the 39ers bring in substitutions, so will the Minnesota Growlers. Now far side, Paulbrandt, back down to Fludmar. Jonsson back to Fludmar, working with Paulbrandt, looking to drive a little bit closer to half court. In the center, he'll find Jonsson. Off the boards, finds Jansen. Down the line to Fludmar. He'll have Paulbrandt, Ilmari Lehtinen, and Tito Sanakangas staying reserved here for the Growlers defense early. They know that one of the keys to success for this Texas team is going to be fast break counterattacks. Transition play is what they're best at, and a lot of that is thanks to Tim Anderson-Carlson. His speed to get to the wing and his accuracy shooting from the wing have made him one of the top scorers in the league this season. Up is Fludmar, bobbling the ball a little bit. Tito Salakanga is going to come up to meet him as a result, but it leaves Anderson-Carlson open on the wing. The shot attempt off the legs of Juuso Lehtinen, recovered by Pasi Arvinen. Facing off against Tito Sanakangas. He's able to back off there after the pressure from Fludmar and take possession here for the Minnesota Growlers. Emily Biernen in close side, goes over to Yipao Roila. He'll wait as the rest of the line comes in. For the Minnesota Growlers, this is the exact place they were last season in a semifinal matchup, looking for a chance at the Troy Cup. Last year was, of course, their inaugural season as an expansion team in the NAFL when we moved to a 16 format. They made it to the semifinal their first season, only to be knocked down by the Fresno Force 5-4 in a heartbreaking loss. Now, however, they have an opportunity once more to vie for the Troy Cup. That ball going around. Tuukka Korhonen shot attempt saved by Nicholas Larson. Lou back to Lindgren. In center, Liliagran. They'll send the ball to the corner. Korhonen on Rosen. Unable to get a clear angle and unable to get a pass off either. Juuso Lehtinen still contesting, but Rosen gets it to Lou, deflected off the body of number 96. Emily Biernen, shoulder contact on Liliagran. No call there. Juuso Lehtinen able to get it out to Emily Biernen. Finally, that's going to end in a free hit for the Minnesota Growlers after that back and forth stick slapping action on the far side. It's going to be Yipao Roila. He'll come with a pass to Julius Salakangas. Back to Roila. Salakangas again. Hilton in far wing, breaking down. He'll come to Ilmari Lehtinen. A spin around, Paulbrandt. Back out, Roila. Julius Salakangas now at the point. Backing off a bit. Jansen will retreat as well for the 39ers defense. He finds Tito Salakangas. Now Alroila driving down on the wing. Looking over to Tito Salakangas. Down to Hilton and just chipped out off the stick of Carl Paulbrand. It's going to be a hit in for the Growlers. We saw flashes of it there. One of the keys for this Minnesota team is going to be getting their passing offense going. If they can sit comfortably with their passing system and have some free will in their opponent's territory, they're going to run this match. That's where most of their scoring opportunities come from. Unlike the fast break opportunities that often gives the 39ers some scoring chances, Minnesota almost always has 4 or 5 men in their opponent's territory already. They have someone spying behind the crease, behind the goal always, another waiting at the goal line. They look for that cross-court passing, and they're willing to take shots from narrow angles on the wings. It's those chances, like the one we just saw there, that give the Minnesota Growlers their skill against defenses. After the mile Marthaler, failed shot attempt, it's going to be Liljegren inbounding here for the 39ers. Far side, Lindgren to Lou. He'll lose control on the sweep. Emily Bjernanen comes away with it with a spin. Seems utterly unbothered as he gets ready to come off the court. Pass from Alroila. He's looking down. Tito Salakangas able to come away with it. It'll go behind himself. Delamari Lehtinen breaking around. Fludmar. He'll send it down the line. And Tito Salakangas down on the court after contact with Janssen. A little slow to get up, but he's back on his feet. Looks like he took a hard fall on his right wrist. He's still clutching it. It looks like he's going to stay back on the court instead of subbing out. Alroila, the chip pass down to Lamari Lehtinen off the free hit. In center, Salakangas, Alroila open on the wing. He'll drive in close, but lose control as he approaches Larson. Now Fludmar down to Jonsson. Fludmar with Paulbrand. Now bringing it down to Anderson Carlson. Able to get the angle around Hilton. And a spin back around to create space. He'll find Paulbrand. He's got Fludmar out again as Emily Bjernanen comes up to pressure. Just over 4 minutes have passed so far in the first period. Both teams still scoreless here in the Troy Cup semifinal matchup. Ball chipped up in the air into the hands of Pasi Järvinen. Järvinen back in the net this game for the Minnesota Growlers. He stayed out yesterday, unclear if it was for load management or injury. He had been dealing with an apparent leg injury, and he wasn't able to get across that quick. Albin Janssen puts one away for the Texas 39ers, their first goal in this semifinal. And after Pasi Järvinen had recovered that ball, it was chipped up in the air off of Marthaler by Fludmar. Janssen drove in surprisingly close to Pasi Järvinen in the blind spot on the left side. Had the perfect scoring position. He had beaten the rest of the defense. And off that Albin Janssen goal, 14:22 left in the first. Your score, Texas 39ers 1, Minnesota Growlers 0. Recovery on the faceoff by the Minnesota Growlers. Tuukka Hiltunen taking it to the far wing. He'll come to Jiip Alroila in center with Julia Salakangas. Far side, Hiltunen. Back to Alroila. Salakangas down to Hiltunen. Chipped away there by Silicek. Goes to Liljegren. And to Lindgren. Lindgren pass looking deep for Rosen, deflected off the legs of Hiltunen. Now Tito Salakangas coming away with the possession. He goes for side. Alroila finds Hiltunen off the boards. Hiltunen driving on the wing with a shot. It's deflected off the body of Silicek. Tito Salakangas sending it back down to Jiip Alroila. He's got Hiltunen. Janssen releasing from the zone, able to get a stick on it. In the center, Salakangas looking for Lehtinen on the left side of the crease. Facing off against Lindgren. Able to get it out to Kempa Rosen. Looking down the line, shipped away by Julia Salakangas on what could have been an Albin Janssen. Fast break, Alroila to the floor off a push from Janssen. It's going to be a free hit for the Texas 39ers. Korhonen to Marthaler. Down to Juuso Lehtinen. Korhonen far side to Marthaler. He's got Etuletanimi off the boards. He'll lose control of the pass. It goes to Carl Paulbrand. Able to get it out to Flugmar as Texas once again going to set up their passing offense. Paulbrand comes cross-court to Flugmar. Cross-court. Now to Anderson Carlson. Looking deep for Janssen across the crease. It's stolen there by Juuso Letanimi. Fludmar forcing it to the boards. Back down to Emily Bjerninen. Across Etuletanimi. To Juuso Letanimi. His brother unable to get the shot attempt off. Back out to Bjerninen at the point. Minnesota struggling so far to get their passing offense going. The key is looking for those across the middle shots down deep. Right now, Texas has done a great job of forcing them to the perimeter. Bjerninen was able to get a little bit of room there in the center lane, but he took the shot just a little bit too quickly, sailed wide left. They'll say it was chipped. It's going to be a Minnesota Growlers hit in the corner. Tita Salakangas getting set to take it. Looking across, deflected by Oscar Liliegran. Liliegran driving down. They'll go far side. Lou, the shot wide left, out of bounds. It'll be a Growlers hit in. Auroila to Salakangas. Back to Auroila. Minnesota taking it slow, being defensive with the ball here. Rosen coming up now, releasing from the defense, able to get a stick on it. Texas has been effective at the press when they've tried it so far this period. Ilmari Lehtinen now. Down deep, off the boards. He'll find Julia Salakangas. Far side, Hilton to Tita Salakangas. Just saved by Larson off the helmet. Lindgren to Liliegran. Behind himself to Adam Silacek. Lindgren to Silacek. Fludmar now. Looking inbound for the Texas team. Paulbrand on the far wing. Etuletanimi coming up to him. Now will return back towards his zone. Fludmar on the close wing with speed. The pass to Jonsson behind himself. Anderson Carlson open on the wing. The shot attempt off the back of his own man, Albin Janssen. Now Bjerninen trying to break it out of Minnesota territory. He'll find Julia Salakangas on the wing. Texas going to retreat away from him. Fludmar coming to meet him. Off the push, it's going to be a free hit for the Minnesota Growlers. Emily Bjerninen set to take it. He goes with a pass to Korhonen. Far side, Mothaler. The shot saved by Nicholas Larson. The Growlers doing a great job here of creating more scoring opportunities. It hasn't panned out yet. That shot by Korhonen hit Etuletanimi. He's still staying down on the court. Play resuming. Now they're going to take time for Etuletanimi down at the Texas goal. It looks like he took an unfortunate hit there off the shot attempt by Korhonen. Peter Lindgren helping Etuletanimi up to his feet there. Applause from both benches in the crowd as he'll get ready to return to his bench. And after the floor gets mopped up there from where Etuletanimi fell to the ground, it's going to be Jeppe Auroila, number 64, on the ball. Pasi Arvinen returning to the court now. And with the whistle, Auroila with a gentleman's hit down the line. It'll find Peter Lindgren. Close side, Adam Silacek. To Lindgren. In center, Liliegran. To Lindgren. Lindgren backing off a bit. Lehtinen creeping closer to the far wing, looking to cut off the passing route to Henrik Lou. Lindgren still biding his time, surveying his options. Finally, he'll pass to Lou. Now down to Liliegran with some space on the wing. Looking across, deflected off the legs of Hilton, and Rosen there for support. Able to rebound it for the 39ers. Now to Lindgren at the point. Pass behind himself to Lou. Back to Lindgren off the boards. Lindgren coming in center. He'll chip it over. Silacek sending it to the boards. Rosen waiting for it. Back down, Adam Silacek. Being pushed back to the backboards there by Hiltonen. He'll go to Rosen. Both teams playing a little bit more slowly here. They've been worn out by the last few days of regular season play and are obviously looking to preserve themselves for the later periods. With less than 10 minutes left on the clock, we're now in the second half of the third period. And as we wind down the clock here in the first period, the Growlers are still scoreless after 10 minutes. That's certainly not the start they were looking to come to in this matchup against the 39ers. Down the line, Emily Bjerreninen's shot goes off the legs of William Jonsson. It'll be Emily Bjerninen on the hit in. Off the boards, he'll find Juuso Lehtiniemi. Back to Bjerninen, close wing. By this point in the match yesterday between these two teams, the Minnesota Growlers had come to a 2-0 lead over the Texas 39ers. Certainly a different story today. You've got to wonder whether or not that's thanks to the new talent that's come back out to the court after load management keeping them away yesterday, or perhaps if it's strategy, the Texas 39ers with a very recent look at what this Minnesota offense is trying to do. Valtteri Rantala behind himself to Bjerninen. Comes down the line off the boards, looking for Juuso Lehtiniemi. Rantala trying to maintain possession, but Fludmar able to hit it out to Janssen. Off the boards, Carl Paulbrandt. We'll pass it off to Fludmar, who goes to Liljegran as substitutions come onto the court here for both squads. Liljegran goes back out to Silicek. Cross court finds Lindgren. Back out to Adam Silicek. Both teams favoring the slower style of play here during the past few minutes. A steal by Julia Salakangas down the line. In center now to Hilton, and looking for the sweep. It's saved by Larson. Nicholas Larson with the pass to Silicek. Now to Liljegran. The Growlers with more shots on goal to this point in the first, 5-3. But Nicholas Larson has been able to save them all. The SSL goalie coming up big today so far as Texas looks to come to an early lead over the Growlers, who shut them out in the first period of play yesterday. Lindgren to Liljegran. Down to Silicek, the sweep shot off the legs of Salakangas, staying low on the boards, inbounds. Marthaler to Salakangas once more. He'll have space on the wing. Backing up a bit as Rosen will retreat here for the 39ers defense. Marthaler now set to inbound. He comes close wing, Bjerninen, and gets the angle around Rosen, trying to find a way around. Liljegran will be pushed to the boards, back out. He's going to find Marthaler once more. Juuso Lehtiniemi far wing. Backing off from Lou. Going to Marthaler once more. Down to Bjerninen. Marthaler edging closer to half court. Now he'll back off. Bjerninen with space after drawing the defenders, but another save by Nicholas Larson. Peter Lindgren on the far side. He'll pass it off to Hampus Fludmar. Now to Carl Paulbrandt. Down to Fludmar. Paulbrandt down the line. Anderson Carlson cross-court pass back down to Fludmar. Texas speeding up a little bit here. Paulbrandt losing control. Rantala able to come away with it. He'll get it to Bjerninen. In traffic, 3-on-1. He wasn't able to get the shot off. Rantala's attempt goes off the legs of Paulbrandt. Anderson Carlson gets it to Janssen, driving down the Zorro, just high over the goal, out of bounds. It'll be a Minnesota Growlers hit-in. 6:10 remaining in the first period. Minnesota still scoreless here, playing in home territory, their home state, as we're live in Duluth, Minnesota for our Troy Cup playoffs. Salakangas to Yipa Roila. Far side, Hiltunen. Hiltunen once more taking the pass. Now drawing the defenders in center. Ilmari Lehtinen flexing to the far wing. Cross court, he finds Salakangas, chipped away by Fludmar. Fludmar has Janssen cutting. Janssen, the shot saved by Pasi Arvinen. Close call there for Minnesota. Tita Salakangas down to Ilmari Lehtinen. They need to get their offense set up here. Hiltunen shot is good! Tuukka Hiltunen puts the Minnesota Growlers on the board. It came close swing. The pass down to Lehtinen from Salakangas. A spin around, and Hiltunen had just come across the center lane from the far wing creating that passing triangle down on the close side. It went over the left shoulder and Nicholas Larsson and into the net. Off the Tuukka Hiltunen goal. 5:42 remaining in the first period. It's now a tie ball game. Your score, Texas 39ers 1, Minnesota Growlers 1. We'll take a brief pause to mop up the court here before we resume. Now for the face-off, it's going to be Lou on Letanimi. Recovery there by Minnesota. Korhonen to Marthaler. Korhonen behind himself to Marthaler. Still going to take a pause. Bjerninen on the far wing. Marthaler, far side to Bjerninen. Cross court, he finds Korhonen driving down the wing. Back off the boards to Bjerninen. Close side, Korhonen driving down, goes to Juuso Letanimi. Behind himself to Korhonen. Far side, Marthaler. Now broken away there by Lou. He's got Marthaler pursuing behind himself. Minnesota looking to counterattack. Edge of Letanimi. He'll spin around, deflected off the legs of Rosen and finds Henrik Lou. Now Henrik Lou taking a pause here as substitutions come onto the court for the 39ers. Far side, Paul Brandt. Back to Fludmar. Paul Brandt wants more. Now Fludmar backing up again here. Texas still being conservative with the ball. Janssen chipping the ball into open waters. Tuukka Hiltunen coming away with it. The pass down Roila. Now down to Julius Salakangis. Cross court looking for Lehtinen off the boards. Not enough speed. Fludmar able to make it a battle for possession. But Lehtinen coming away with it. Off the boards to Julius Salakangis. Chipped back. Ilmari Lehtinen. It'll come down deep to Salakangis. Ball goes off the feet there of Paul Brandt. Him on Lehtinen in the far corner. Now Fludmar on the wing. And a shot attempt by Anderson Carlson off the legs of Salakangis. It'll come down deep to Salakangis, unable to get the shot off. Nicholas Larsson comes away with it. He'll roll it to William Jonsson. He goes with a pass to Adam Silacek. The two of them, of course, returners to this Texas franchise from last season. Of course, last year, the 39ers went by a different name, the Texas Tornadoes, as an expansion team last season in the NAFL. They went 1-9 in the regular season. An unfortunate year for them. However, after a rebrand and the addition of some new talent, as well as welcoming back the old in the offseason, the 39ers have come out, but they're not able to stop that Minnesota Growler offensive. On the counterattack, the Growlers put another away to take the lead. Ball had been broken down there. There's a drive all the way down there by Tuukka Korhonen from the far corner to the close one. With impressive speed, he's able to get one around the defense. Off the Tuukka Korhonen goal. 2:59 remaining in the first period. Your score, Texas 39ers 1, Minnesota Growlers 2. It'll be Janssen on Salakangis there for the face-off. Recovery by Minnesota. Minnesota has been playing more off the counterattack today than they normally do. Close side with Salakangis and now Roila. Far side to Hiltunen. Salakangis close side. With 2.5 minutes remaining, we'll see if Texas is able to use it to equalize. The shot by Anderson Carlson, right as the words leave my mouth. The announcer's curse strikes another time today with that Texas 39ers goal. Tim Anderson Carlson with a beautiful, powerful shot from right down center lane. It was Janssen to Anderson Carlson. A simple yet elegant execution on the counterattack. Jansen to Anderson Carlson, equalizing quickly here. 2:33 remaining in the first. Your score now: Texas 2, Minnesota 2. Tuukka Korhonen, far side. He'll come to Mile Mothaler. Mothaler. They'll go over to Korhonen. In the center lane. Go back to Mothaler. Anderson Carlson coming up to meet him. That's Niemi on the boards. Finds Korhonen. Back out to Mothaler. Minnesota rotating around, but not penetrating the Texas defense just yet. They're spread out, but Minnesota not going to put a man in the middle yet. Now Etuletanimi rotating there. Bjerrinen in center of the ball, chipped up by Paul Brandt. Able to get it to the wing to Anderson Carlson. Korhonen there for support against Bjerrinen, but it's going to draw a foul. Free hit here for the Texas 39ers. On the far wing, it's going to be Peter Lindgren getting set. Lindgren back to Silicek. In center with Kemper Rosen. Shot attempt off the body of Hiltunen. Lehtinen able to box him out to the boards for the rebound. He'll find Hiltunen, but he was on his heels. Lindgren able to capitalize. Lou now trying to come away with it in Minnesota territory, but he just doesn't have the support for it. Now Yipao Roila, pass deflected by Liljegren. Back and forth here in open waters. Neither team to the treasure yet. Tita Salakangas. Pass deflected by Rosen. Once again, a turnover. Now another. Salakangas taking the ball here on the close wing. It comes to his brother Julius Salakangas. Ilmari Lehtinen off the boards. Over to Roila. Now to Salakangas, somehow keeping the drive alive, and the Michigan lift shot on the wraparound is good. Tita Salakangas putting the Minnesota Growlers back in the lead with a minute left in the first. It was a series of miracle passes, especially that assist shot from Roila. It took a second to feel that he didn't recognize where it had come from, but he got it to Tita Salakangas behind the goal. He was able to come around for the Michigan. And off of that Tita Salakangas goal, we're now looking at Texas 39ers 2, Minnesota Growlers 3, and what has already been an action-packed first period of this semifinal matchup. A reminder that the winner of today's game will go on to face the Fresno Force tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time as they both vie for the Troy Cup. And of course, after this match, we'll announce a man of the match from each team, so make sure you stick around to see that prestigious award granted during the semifinal. Anderson Carlson, far side, looking across. Was it a goal? No, it wasn't. Pasi Järvinen able to fall on it on what looked like a close call. Bjerrinen shot wide right after Larson came out to meet him at the front of the crease. It's going to be a hit in here for Minnesota. They're looking to waste no time. They'll pass it down, Juuso Lehtinen. To Bjerrinen on the boards with Paul Brandt. Less than 45 seconds remaining in the first period. Can Texas equalize here as the seconds drain down? Paul Brandt with a spin in Minnesota territory. Chipped away by Lehtinen. Going to the ground, leaving it all on the court there for the defense. Paul Brandt down the line. Anderson Carlson to Jansen. Jansen unable to chip it in. Still their ball on the backboards. Less than 30 seconds. They're going to draw a free hit call here for the Texas 39ers. Anderson Carlson and Jansen set to take it. Jansen to Anderson Carlson. Coming across for the sweep shot. Hit out of bounds off the body of Juuso Lehtinen. It'll be another hit in for the Texas 39ers. 21 seconds left on the clock. Going behind the boards, Korhonen needing a man to pass to through the legs of Jansen. He'll find Bjerrinen and Mothaler, but Floorball sends it down into Texas territory. Paul Brandt trying to get there before the speedy Emily Bjerrinen on the wing. 5 seconds left. He shoots, deflected by Etuletanimi. Time about to expire in the first. Your score after one period of semifinal play. It's Texas 39ers 2, Minnesota Growlers 3 in a hard-fought playoff battle. Floorball fans, you're not going to want to miss the second period of action between these two high-octane playoff offenses. We'll see you in just under 10 minutes for that period. And, of course, stay tuned during the intermission as we bring you another exclusive NAFL player interview. Floorball fans of the NAFL, we've just gotten done with the first period of semifinal play between the 39ers and Growlers. We're joined here by number 92, Deetra Samakangas. Deetra, how are you feeling after that first period?
I feel okay. I think it's really super hot in this hall, so it's quite quite hard to play, but I like it. I like to play floorball, and we scored 3 goals in the first period, so I can be happy.
And what do you think was the key for your team in this first period as you started to heat up your offense towards the back end?
I think that was good that yesterday's game for us. So we got a lot of goals yesterday, and we had good feeling from the start of the game. So I think that was good for us.
And as we look ahead now to the second and third period, as you look to hold on to your lead, what do you think is going to be the key for your team to stay in this position?
Of course, we have to defend. The enemy has especially one super talented goal scorer there, so we have to block the shots and be super aggressive at the own zone. So I think that's our weapon today.
Well, Deetra, thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck in the second and third periods. Floorball fans, don't worry, we'll be back in just a few minutes with the second period between the 39ers and the Growlers. Ford Cup playoffs start now. Well, welcome back, Floorball fans. It's almost time to head back down to the court for the second period of semifinal action between the Texas 39ers and the Minnesota Growlers. But first, we'd like to remind you about our sponsors. First of all, our official clothing partner for the 2024 NAFL season is Kempa. If you like what our referees are wearing, then you like Kempa. Next is the Finnish Bistro, a beloved local gym offering a full-service coffee bar, authentic European cuisine, and a delightful bakery. Whether you're in the mood for a rich cup of coffee, a delectable pastry, or a hearty European meal, the Finnish Bistro has something to satisfy every palate. Located at 2264 Como Avenue in St. Paul, Minnesota, we invite you to explore the delicious offerings at the Finnish Bistro. And last but certainly not least, our official floorball partnership for the 2024 NAFL season, Fat Pipe, bringing you the latest in floorball technology in beautiful Swiss media yellow. Every floorball you've seen on an NAFL court this season is Fat Pipe. And a reminder, floorball fans, if you're curious about the statistics to this or any other NAFL matchup, past, present, or future, you can always go online to sportninja.com to view those statistics or download the Sport Ninja app from the App Store. Now, as we get set for this second period, it was an intense battle in the first. Minnesota finally able to get their offense working here against the 39ers and come away with a narrow one-goal lead towards the end of that last period. Certainly, it's not an indefensible lead. However, Texas has shown a lot of greatness, but it's been a dueling set of offenses here. Of course, Minnesota operating best with their passing system whenever they can flex all of their men down into opponent territory, but we haven't seen that today. We've seen more of a counterattack style offense that's been successful. For Texas, in the inverse, they're typically a transition play team, but we've seen them rely a lot more on being defensive with the ball and trying to create sustained offensive drives, yet that hasn't been where their scoring's come from either. It's still the counterattacks and transition play that have given Texas most of their looks today. Tuukka Korhonen coming close side to Mile Marthaler. Off the boards, Juuso Lehtiniemi chipping it down. It'll come to the close wing. Lindgren in Eetu Lehtiniemi. Chipped there by Silacek. Eetu Lehtiniemi still coming around to his brother, unable to get the shot attempt off. Only Pirinen and sweep goes off the body of Oscar Liljegren, number 92. Now Peter Lindgren recovering. Tim Anderson-Carlson on the wing. He's going to be a player to watch today after resting yesterday. Hoping to come back fully healthy and energized for the semifinal matchup. And as Tita Salakangis, number 92 of the Minnesota Growlers, told us during the intermission, he's one of the reasons why Minnesota has to focus on defense, defense, defense the entirety of this matchup, because if they slip, Anderson-Carlson is waiting on the wing to make a shot, just like the attempt there that went off the body of Auroila. Still breaking it out into open waters. It'll find its way to Tita Salakangis, number 92 off the backboards. It'll find Auroila. Auroila with some contact there with Janssen. Gets the ball to Salakangis, looking for the shot. He'll take it. It's out of bounds off the body of Hampus Fludmore. Tita Salakangis off the board. Still Mari Lehtinen. Back to Salakangis. Lehtinen looking for a man. Losing some control. Janssen able to chip it to the corner and around the bend. Paulbrandt breaking it out of the crease. As Auroila now retreating for the Minnesota Growlers defense. He'll come back as Paulbrandt comes up for the 39ers. Down to Anderson-Carlson on the wing. Looking across to Janssen, just saved by Pasi Arvinen. Now Paulbrandt. Down to Anderson-Carlson on the wing. He'll take the shot this time, just wide right. Janssen recovering. Down to Fludmore on the boards. Fludmore to Paulbrandt. Backing off a bit here. He'll come out to Fludmore. Far side, Jonsson on the wing, facing heavy pressure from Emily Virtanen, one of the fastest in the league. He's able to come away with an off a spin. He'll still be kicked out behind himself, where he's able to recover. A masterful steal there by Virtanen. Korhonen off the boards to Eetu Lehtiniemi. Lehtiniemi back to Virtanen. He'll go across. Juuso Lehtiniemi with Mile Marthaler. Back out to Marthaler on the wing. Finds Korhonen behind himself. Marthaler and Fludmore now battling for possession in Texas territory. Both of them struggling just to see the ball there. It finally gets to Korhonen, needing a man to pass to. It'll be deflected by Paulbrandt. It's going to draw a hit here for the Minnesota Growlers. Both teams bringing substitutions out to the court. Ilmari Lehtinen going to do it with Tuukka Hiltunen taking this hit in. Julius Salakangas sends the ball wide left, deflected by Silicek. Down to Lindgren. Looking down to Liljegren. The shot goes high over the goal. It'll be a hit in for the 39ers. Auroila through the front of the crease. We'll go far side to Salakangas. Minnesota taking it a little bit more slowly on this offensive drive here. Both teams still scoreless to this point in the second. Salakangas. Down to his brother Tito Salakangas. Auroila now in the backcourt. The shot by Julius Salakangas just wide. Peter Lindgren close side. Cross court finds Liljegren going to the boards. Able to break it away from the Salakangas brothers. Rosen pass to Lindgren. Deflected there. The steal by Ilmari Lehtinen. Behind himself to Jipa Auroila. He'll pass it off to Tuukka Korhonen. Back to Marthaler. Now Juuso Lehtinen. Looking down deep. Korhonen shot off the body of Eetu Lehtinen. Goes to the boards. Bjernen in on Fludmar. The pass gets out to William Jonsson. Jonsson driving on the wing to Jensen. Back down to Fludmar. Close side. Paulbrand. To William Jonsson. Going behind the net. Chipped away by Juuso Lehtinen. Jonsson barely keeping it in bounds. Up in the air. Anderson Carlson. Looks more like a golf shot attempt. Jensen Zorro across to Jonsson on the outside of the net. Tuukka Korhonen looking to recover here for the Minnesota Growlers. Bjernen chips the ball back down to Korhonen. Kyle Marthaler to Korhonen. He goes over Juuso Lehtinen off the boards. That pass missed. But Bjernen still able to make it a contest. Now Texas has the ball deep in their own territory. Less than 15 minutes remaining in the second period. Anderson Carlson shot saved by Järvinen. That's where he loves to stay, is from the wing. It's one of the most effective scoring positions for Anderson Carlson. Of course, he was one of the top point leaders this season. During the regular season, putting up 29 points, 14 of those goals. Auroila goes across. Salakangas back to Auroila. Salakangas down, looking for Ilmari Lehtinen in the corner. Through the legs of Silicek, able to get it to Salakangas, facing off against Lindgren. Salakangas pausing with the ball in the corner, will send it down. Julius Salakangas going to hustle for that ball. Salakangas pausing in the center lane. Rosen coming up to meet him here. Still staying a bit reserved for the Texas defense. Now he'll release to the far side. Deflected off the legs of Liljegren. Henrik Lou. The shot saved by Pasi Järvinen. Järvinen rolls it slowly to Auroila. Emily Bjernen at half court. Juuso Lehtinen down to Tuukka Korhonen. Lehtinen far side. Back to Korhonen. Lou coming up a little bit closer. It'll go to Bjernen far side. Able to get the angle around. Lou driving down the pass to Juuso Lehtinen. Coming back for the sweep. Korhonen close side. Kyle Marthaler. Fast passing as Juuso Lehtinen taking a seat. Hit the Texas bench as he fell over the boards. Korhonen sensing that. Went behind the goal to recover. Now Bjernen looking to inbound here for Minnesota. He passes down to Kyle Marthaler. Eetu Lehtinen back to Marthaler. Eetu Lehtinen once more. The pass to Korhonen. Bjernen to Korhonen down to Marthaler. Creeping closer in Texas territory, but the steal by Jonsson gets it to Anderson Carlson, trying to get the angle around. Korhonen will come to the boards on the wing. 2-on-1 on the boards. Able to break it out. Carl Paulbrand. Back to Anderson Carlson. The steal by Korhonen. Bjernen cutting the other side. Korhonen unable to get the pass off behind the goal. He'll get it out to Bjernen, and now the shot saved off the body of William Jonsson into the hands of Nicholas Larsson. Anderson Carlson with room on the close wing. Ilmari Lehtinen coming up to meet him. The pass back out to Paulbrand. Now Peter Lindgren in the center lane. He's sending his man Jensen in motion. He'll find him in center, looking across. Deflected off the legs of Hilton. Able to stop that attempt. Anderson Carlson. Auroila took a hard hit. Oscar Liliagran able to capitalize for the Texas 39ers. Julius Salakangas discussing with the referee there. Yip Alroila had been down on the court with an injury when that shot was taken. Pasi Arvinen, the goalkeeper, not happy about that Oscar Liliagran goal from the wing. Alroila had contact with Järvinen, it appears. He was still down on the far side of the goal when the shot was taken by Liliagran. Alroila still discussing. He's back up on his feet. It appears the goal's still going to stand here for the Texas 39ers. With Liliagran score, 12:07 remaining in the second. It's Texas 39ers 3, Minnesota Growlers 3. And Texas breaking the huddle there on the far side is the whistle to return to the court here. Pasi Arvinen now also discussing with the referee. Certainly a charged situation there off the Alroila injury, but the goal is going to stand. Järvinen back in goal now for the Growlers. For the face-off, it'll be Letanimi against Jönsson. Recovery by Minnesota on the face-off. Valtteri Rantala with it in his own territory.
Texas 39ers goal scored by number 92, Oscar Lilligren. Assisted by number 7, Ken Anderson.
Mothaler coming across the crease. Down to Valtteri Rantala. Behind himself, Mothaler down the line, finds Eetu Letanimi. The spin to try and break around loose, sends him to the ground. Looks like he took an elbow to the head. Able to get back up to his feet. He won't let Lou help him back up. Eetu Letanimi up back on his feet. It's going to be a free hit here for the Minnesota Growlers. Rantala and Letanimi set to take it. Mothaler working far side with Juuso Letanimi chipping the ball out. It'll be a Texas 39ers hit, and Anderson Carlson set to take it. He'll send Liliagran in motion on a screen. The shot attempt by Anderson Carlson off the legs of Salakangas. He's still trying to maintain possession. He's able to get it down to his man, Fludmar. Titus Salakangas pursuing him into his own territory. Close side, Carl Paulbrand. Back over to Fludmar. Fludmar now still staying with the backcourt passing. Minnesota still parked around half court on the defense. Liliagran with room in center. Far side, Janssen back down the line. Fludmar over to Paulbrand. Down to Anderson Carlson on the wing. With Jesse Hilton and DeBita, spin around, but it'll go behind the goal line. Unable to get the shot attempt off there from the wing. But he looks across to Liliagran. Another score for the 39ers. Wait, the call is saying no goal. They're saying Pasi Järvinen just saved it. What a close call there for the Minnesota Growlers. Had me fooled like visual effects from here in the booth. But with 10:42 remaining in the second period, it's still a tie ball game, 3-3 between the 39ers and Growlers. Salakangas to Lehtinen. Back to Salakangas. Facing pressure from Fludmar. Janssen able to come away with the steal on the boards. The pass behind himself. Down past Fludmar. Now down to Carl Paulbrand. He's got Anderson Carlson leading in front of him. Looking for a man. He'll go to Anderson Carlson on the wing. Looking across to Liliagran again for the connection, but unable to find him. Now Titus Salakangas to Lehtinen. Just spin around. Unable to get the shot attempt off. He's stopped up by the 39ers defense, driving once again close. He'll find Mile Mothaler. Down to Tuukka Korhonen. Lehtinen and Salakangas getting ready to sub out. Korhonen the pass behind himself to Letanimi. Bjerninen to Juuso Letanimi. Bjerninen in center, goes behind himself to Mothaler. In center with Eetu Letanimi. Bjerninen back to Mothaler. Mothaler in motion on the wing. Juuso Lehtiniemi coming up to half court on the side. Björninen behind himself to Korhonen. Still holding the ball. Will go back to Mothaler. Minnesota getting a lot more conservative with the ball after several close calls on transition play. The shot attempt by Juuso Lehtiniemi is good. The Lehtiniemi connection putting one away for the Minnesota Growlers. And after a period of extended defensive play, it came to Eetu Lehtiniemi. He saw his brother Juuso directly in front of the goal at the edge of the crease. Able to put it away off of that Juuso Lehtiniemi goal. 9:27 remaining in the second period. The Growlers inching their way back up. Your score, 39ers 3, Growlers 4, as we're officially in the second half of the match. Less than 10 minutes to go in the second. Recovery there by Minnesota. The ball rolling all the way to Pasi Järvinen. Minnesota once again with a narrow one-goal lead, but as we've seen, Texas certainly has the skill to drive down and make Minnesota pay. So a one-goal lead is not safe at all during the semifinal matchup between these two high-octane playoff teams who have demonstrated all season why they deserve a chance at the Troy Cup. The Texas 39ers, of course, came out after their new look change in the offseason and were able to come away with a 4-0 record to start the season, the only undefeated team past the first week of play. They were an early leader in the playoff standings, but fell after a dry spell during our second week of play in Clarksville, Tennessee. They were able to work their way back up to the second seed, however, over the Minnesota Growlers, and they now stand once again as a new look compared to what we saw halfway through the year. Larson unable to fall on the ball as he dives for it, but Ballbrand able to steal that Lehtinen pass. 8.5 minutes remaining in the second period. Ballbrand comes close side to Lindgren. Lindgren driving down on the wing to Anderson Carlson. The shot off the legs of Alroila, bouncing out of bounds. It'll be a Texas hit-in. Anderson Carlson looking across. That pass deflected by Tuukka Hiltunen out of bounds. It'll be another 39ers hit-in. Jensen with the wraparound Zorro. A quick response there by Albin Jensen. And the Texas 39ers once again make it a tie ball game in what has been a thriller to this point so far. It was after that ball was hit out of bounds. Another hit in taken by Anderson Carlson with Jensen. Jensen was spying behind the goal line where Pasi Järvinen wasn't looking, and he came right up, sidling to the goal with the Zorro in that narrow corner where Järvinen wasn't. And off of that Albin Jensen goal, 8:13 remaining in the second period. Back to a tie ball game. It's 39ers 4, Growlers 4. Taking a quick pause there to mop the court in front of the Texas goal. Larson returning to the goal there for Texas. And with that, play ready to resume on the faceoff. It'll be Lehtiniemi against Anderson Carlson. Jensen trying to drive there on the faceoff, but Minnesota recovering. Björninen on the far wing, the pass down. Juuso Lehtiniemi to Mile Marthaler. Back to Lehtiniemi. Off the boards, finds Eetu Lehtiniemi. Going behind the Texas goal. Looking for a man to pass to. He'll find his brother again. The Lehtiniemi brothers, another strike for the Minnesota Growlers. What a beautiful story there, the Lehtiniemi brothers. New talent who were brought in over the offseason for this Growlers squad have come up in a big way every game they've played. Eetu Lehtiniemi went behind the goal there. Ballbrand was forcing him back down on the wing. His brother Juuso once again stepped back and right from the middle of the crease was able to come away with the score off of the Juuso Lehtiniemi goal for the Growlers. 7:51 remaining in the second. It's now Texas 4, Minnesota 5. Now both teams ready to resume. It'll be Salakangas against Lou here for the faceoff. Recovery by Minnesota. And it seems for every bit of good that Texas has done this period, Minnesota has had an answer for it and done just a little better. They've been able to keep the edge here in the second period. They came in with a 1-goal lead. And every time Texas has equalized, they've been able to put themselves back on top. It's still been an utterly back-and-forth matchup today, however. It'll be interesting to see whose side it swings to before we head into the third period, if Texas will be able to equalize or even come away with a lead, or if Minnesota going to keep inching further and further away. On the far side, Rosen off the boards. Jonsson, powerful shot on target to Arvinen. Oh, my goodness! A goal by Kempa Rosen. An unbelievable hit there. It was utter chaos. Texas put a goal away. Pasi Arvinen looks a little injured there on the court. He got his head cut in the post as he had been pushed back. He had been drawn out. Rosen went for the come from behind. Arvinen still on the ground. Looks like he's clutching his hip as he gets back up. After that utter chaos and Texas goal, it's equalized once more with 7:10 remaining in the second period. It's Texas 39ers 5, Minnesota Growlers 5. Anderson Carlson, number 7 of Texas, went over to check on Pasi Arvinen, and thumbs up between the two of them. They'll mop up the court here in front of Pasi Arvinen, where he and several other players took a tumble. Arvinen now set back in goal. We'll be ready to resume here. That goal officially credited to number 34 of the Texas 39ers. That's Kempa Rosen. He's been a phenomenal player towards the crease for Texas every game this year, it seems. And an unbelievably clutch goal there after the utter chaos, conflagration, and kerfluffle that happened in front of Pasi Arvinen. Korhonen off the boards, to Lehtiniemi. How's Minnesota going to respond here on this offensive drive? Ballbrand once again, tight defense. Able to chip the ball off the blade. He gets to Jensen. Shoulder contact. Björninen sending it to the far boards. Björninen off the boards around Liljegren. It finds Anderson Carlson in Texas territory. Björninen from behind. Looking cross court, the steal by Korhonen. Korhonen on the wing. He was looking for a pass back to Lehtiniemi, but Texas able to come away with it. Albin Jensen now in Minnesota territory looking deep. Anderson Carlson was looking to take a step back on the fade. Jensen wanted him to take a step forward. He'll lose control. Juuso Lehtiniemi now on the ball for Minnesota. With a spin around Jensen, he'll retreat. The pass to Korhonen. Now Roila goes far side to Julius Salakangas. 6 minutes remaining in the second period. Down to Hiltunen. Behind himself, Roila, far side. Julius Salakangas off the boards. Dita Salakangas across to Lehtinen, just off by inches. To the left side, Hiltunen going to the ground there on the defense. Fludmar going to stand with it for a second. Jonsson going to take it now on the far wing as his line returns to the court. Jonsson and Lindgren, of course, have been working together since last year with this Texas squad. Jonsson coming into the captainship this season. And Lindgren in his second year as a player and coach for the 39ers. Lindgren holding on to the ball. A bit defensive here. Salakangas releasing for the press, but it gets the ball off to Jonsson. Far side, Rosen. Unable to drive around Royle. He's going to have to go behind the goal. Advantage granted to the 39ers. Chipped away there by Lehtinen. Silacek unable to break it out on the boards. In the center, Tuukka Lehtinen far side. He's got Tiitas Alakangas. The sweep shot off the helmet of Larson out of bounds. It'll be a Minnesota Growlers hit in with less than 5 minutes left on the clock. What a tightly contested semifinal matchup this has been to this point. We saw the same thing this morning with the semifinal between the Fresno Force and Fort Worth Jaguars. It was anybody's game until the last 2 minutes when a penalty on Spinor was able to create an opportunity for Fresno to come ahead with a lead and several empty net goals. Sent them to the Troy Cup final match tomorrow at noon against the winner of today's semifinal. We've been seeing the same story here with a back and forth grueling matchup. It's going to be a hard fought victory for whoever comes out ahead. Juuso Lehtinen diving there on the push from Silacek. It draws the hit here for the Minnesota Growlers. Still all love between Bombardak, Adam Silacek, and Lehtinen. Marthaler taking time in his own territory. Back down to Marthaler. The call from the bench there, come on Tex, as the players look to encourage one another. At Lehtinen. Close side, will pass over to Bjerninen. Back to Marthaler. Down at Lehtinen to Marthaler. At Lehtinen driving down, chipped away by Lindgren, gets to Anderson Carlson. Down the line. He'll find Jensen. Jensen with some space in the corner, no one contesting him. Egan a man to pass to will find Anderson Carlson off the boards to Lindgren. The Minnesota defense was uber condensed there. Now coming out to meet Anderson Carlson. Across the shot by Jensen. Saved by Pasi Arvinen. Jensen going to the ground. There's some contact with Bjerninen. Referee telling Jensen he's that close to a penalty. Tensions are flying high down on the court. Jensen slow to get back up to his feet. He'll be able to. Deepa Royle going over to check on him. The court needing to be mopped. Tim Anderson Carlson on the court also doesn't appear to be happy about the call. He's talking with Jensen. But it's going to be a Minnesota ball to bring it back in. A close call there as Texas narrowly avoiding that penalty call. Still getting reset here. Pasi Arvinen not ready to resume just yet. Arvinen now set. Royle goes with the pass out. Salakangas back to Royle. As we hit the last 3.5 minutes of the second period, still a tie ball game here between the 39ers and Growlers. It's getting intense down on the court. These two teams want the win badly, and they've played hard for it so far today. Neither team coming to a wide and away advantage over the other. It's been a back and forth match so far. Ilmari Lehtinen, shot attempt off the legs of Paul Brandt. Dilton saved by Nicholas Larson. Paul Brandt spinning back around. Paul Brandt leaving the ball there for Peter Lindgren. We'll go far side, Silacek. Trying to get the angle around Bjerninen. A pass across to Anderson Carlson. To Jensen. The shot high right over the goal. It's a hit in here for the Minnesota Growlers. Tuukka Korhonen taking pause. Down to Mile Marthaler. Marthaler back to Korhonen. Far side, Juuso Lehtinen. Back to Korhonen. Korhonen still taking his time. Finally, he'll pass. It's sent down the line by Letanimi to Marthaler in Texas territory. Trying to find an angle. He'll pass back down to Letanimi. Rosen aggressive on the press here for the 39ers. Korhonen far side to Juuso Letanimi behind himself to Bjernanen behind the goal line. Letanimi from distance. Shot deflected out of bounds off the body of Kemper Rosen. Bjernanen with Letanimi chipped by Rosen. Now Jonsson sending it down to the close boards. Free hit here for the Minnesota Growlers. Under 2 minutes remaining in the second for either team to try and come away to an advantage. The Texas defense set 3 wide with spacing, 2 men in the crease. Al Roila to Tita Salakangas to Julia Salakangas, deflected off the body of Janssen. It'll stay in bounds. Elamari Lettinen close side to Tita Salakangas, deflected off the body of Carl Paulbrand. Lettinen getting to it again, sending one off Paulbrand's body once more. Lettinen still with possession to Julia Salakangas, back to Lettinen. Off the boards, back to Lettinen, back to Salakangas, speeding up the perimeter passing here for Minnesota. Yipao Roila comes down close side to Hiltunen, shipped by Liljegren. Up in the air, now in open waters. Paulbrand able to send it to the close boards. He's got support from Anderson Carlson. Instead, he'll go back out to number 21, Peter Lindgren. Paulbrand, close side. Go over to Fludmar. Just over a minute remaining here in the second period. Texas with an opportunity to come away with a lead as we head into the third. Julius Salakangas breaking the ball out behind his own goal. Texas going to retreat to half court. He'll pass it off to Miles Marthaler. A second line comes out for the Growlers. Far side. Letanimi back to Korhonen, down to Marthaler. Marthaler inching back. Far side, Korhonen to Letanimi. Back out, Korhonen down to Marthaler. Gets around to Letanimi. Chips over Korhonen, shot attempt, saved by Larson. The steal by Letanimi to his brother Juuso. The shot is good! With under 20 seconds left on the clock, the Minnesota Growlers put one away. Letanimi on the wing. The shot had been saved, came back down. He sent one over wild on a hope and a prayer. And Minnesota scoring from deep on the wing. 18 seconds left on the clock in the second period, and now the Growlers going to come away with a lead heading into the third period. 39ers 5, Growlers 6 in a pivotal goal there. That's going to allow for a shift in momentum to be durable through to the third period, barring a Texas miracle goal here in the last remaining seconds of the second. That goal there by Juuso Letanimi of the Growlers. The ball in the corner, Tita Salakangas defending in his own territory. Julius Salakangas speeding up the passing. Unable to send it down into Texas territory. He'll find Hilton, and his time gets ready to expire. Your score at the end of the second period, Texas 39ers 5, Minnesota Growlers 6. And what was another intense period of floorball action from the NAFL in this semifinal game. Floorball fans, this is going to be an intense and exciting conclusion to this match when we come back with the third period. We'll be back with that in just over 10 minutes. And of course, stay tuned during the intermission as we bring you another exclusive NAFL player interview. Floorball fans, after that intense period of play by the Texas 39ers against the Minnesota Growlers, we're joined here by number 92, Oscar Lilliegren. Oscar, how are you feeling after your second?
Sweaty. It's kind of warm in here, but yeah, I think we did a better period this time around, but unfortunately we let loose, or we conceded a couple of cheap goals. I think I have some, Tim has some. We give them a bit too much space and a bit too much to work with, but it's better. So I'm sure we will regroup now and do a better third period.
What have you seen this game as being the biggest threat coming through this Minnesota Growlers team?
Yeah, they have a great depth in their team. I think they have like 15, probably more good players, really good players. So they have a great chemistry. They're good with the ball, good snipers and stuff. So we gotta, be tight and block shots and stuff, the basics, to win this game, I think.
And Oscar, as you look ahead to the third period, what do you think is going to be the main message in the locker room as you look to get ready to come ahead with the win?
Just keep going. We know they have been strong in the first, especially in the first period, but also in the second. But they have lost some games in the third period, so and we have won some. So we're going in with a good feeling this time around.
Well, Oscar, best of luck in the third period in the semifinal matchup. Thank you for joining us. Floorball fans, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the third period between the Texas 39ers and the Minnesota Growlers. Ford Cup playoffs start now. Well, Floorball fans, welcome back as we get set to head back down to the court for the third period of semifinal action between the 39ers and the Growlers. First, we'd like to remind you about our sponsors. First, the Finnish Bistro. The Finnish Bistro is a beloved local gem, offering a full-service coffee bar, authentic European cuisine, and a delightful bakery. Whether in the mood for a rich cup of coffee, a delectable pastry, or a hearty European meal, the Finnish Bistro has something to satisfy every palate. Located at 2264 Como Avenue in St. Paul, Minnesota, we invite you to explore the delicious offerings at the Finnish Bistro. And of course, our official clothing partner for the 2024 season is Kempa. If you like what our referees are wearing, then you like Kempa. And of course, our official floorball partnership for the 2024 season with Fat Pipe. Bringing you the latest in floorball technology in beautiful Swiss media yellow. Every floorball you see on an NAFL court this season is Fat Pipe. And a reminder, fans, if you're curious about the statistics to this or any other NAFL matchup, past, present, or future, you can always go online to sportninja.com or go download the Sport Ninja app from the App Store. Recovery there by Minnesota on the face-off. Heading into this period, it was Juuso Lehtiniemi who came up big multiple times with a hat trick last period, able to put the Minnesota Growlers up on top after every time the Texas 39ers had tried to claw their way back. Finally, with 18 seconds left on the clock in the second period, Lehtiniemi discovered that blow that gave the Minnesota Growlers a one-goal advantage heading into the intermission. It'll be interesting to see what they're able to do with that gained momentum here as we come into the third against a Texas team that is eager to come back against the Growlers. When we spoke during the intermission with Oscar Liljegrand, number 92, one of the things he told us is, look, we're a team who has won games in the third period. We know how to finish. He said Minnesota, that's a team who's lost some games in the third period. So he thinks it's going to be a matter of keeping the energy up, staying aware, and playing the game that Texas knows how to do when it comes to finishing late in matches. Ilmari Lehtinen coming out now on the wing. He'll pass to Julius Salakangis. In center, Auroila. Ilmari Lehtinen. The shot off the post, staying in bounds. Tito Salakangis coming around. Julius Salakangis' shot goes wide left. Chipped away there, Lehtinen and Auroila. Off the boards. Lehtinen going to the court there, slipping in the sweat on the Gurf floor. Chipped over. Tito Salakangis, Ilmari Lehtinen. Back to Salakangis on the close wing. Hiltonen unable to get the shot attempt off. It'll go to Auroila far side. Back into the center lane with Julius Salakangis. Back to Auroila. In center, Julius Salakangis. The swing around. Tito Salakangis. Cross-court pass, chipped up in the air. Anderson Carlson unable to get it on the far boards. Hiltonen gets the pass off to Julius Salakangis. Albin Janssen in pursuit there. Auroila going to pause. Second line coming out now for the Minnesota Growlers squad. Marthaler with Juuso Lehtiniemi. He'll send his man in motion. Close side, Marthaler. Back to Lehtiniemi. Far side, Korhonen. Cross court, finds Marthaler. The shot goes off the stick of Fludmar. Chipped up in the air by Eddie Lehtiniemi. It'll be a hit in for the Texas 39ers. Moser goes with the pass to Lindgren. Texas tapping into some of their depth here in the third period as they look to stay fresh. Goes far side to Lou. Back down to Lindgren. Far side, Lou once more. Derek Moser now. Coming to Lou. Still pausing. Now Texas breaking into Minnesota territory with Lindgren on the far wing. Back to Moser. Moser, of course, a Troy Cup champion. His first season in the NAFL with the inaugural champion Florida Vikings. Back this season with the 39ers as he looks to help them to a Troy Cup. The former hockey player turned floorballer here. Coming out after a shift for the 39ers. Hampus Fludmar now. Off the boards, finds Liljegrand down to Janssen. Chipped up off the body there of Auroila. Anderson Carlson struggling to come away with it as Tito Salakangis able to get the angle. Salakangis in center. Spinning back around. He'll pass to Julius Salakangas. He has Alroila in center. Alroila now taking it out to the wing. No one in center court here for Minnesota, all around the perimeter right now. Now Hiltunen rotating around. Not a lot of movement here from this Minnesota team. Waiting approximately 3 to 5 business days to make their move. Now they'll take it. Alroila, Ilmari Lehtinen driving down, the save by Larson as Lehtinen goes flying over him. Ballbrand, cross court from Anderson Carlson, intended for Liljegren. It'll be a 2-on-1 in the corner. He's able to ship it out to Jansen, far side Anderson Carlson. That shot off the legs of Hiltunen. Hiltunen behind himself to Tita Salakangas, back to Hiltunen. Unable to get the shot attempt off. It was chipped away by Paul Brandt. Goes to the far side, Anderson Carlson. Shot is saved by Pasi Arvinen. Down the line, Tita Salakangas. His shot high over the goal. It'll be a hit in for the 39ers. Lindgren and Moser now in the backcourt for the 39ers. Lou. Shot goes high over the head of Pasi Arvinen. It'll be a hit in here for the 39ers. They're going to say it was chipped. Minnesota not happy about the call. Kempa Rosen with Jönsson. Chipped up by Lehtinen. Korhonen with the angle in the corner off the boards. Monthaler losing it. Rosen shot just saved by Juuso Lehtinen. It's Lehtinen going to the boards. It's going to draw a free hit. First line returning to the court here for the Minnesota Growlers. It'll be Alroila getting set to take it there in the corner. Ian Salakangas slowly but surely working up the backcourt. Alroila pass chip down, stolen by Fludmar, sent into open waters. Alroila breaking it back down now on the close wing. Ball going to the corner. Lehtinen. Across to Julius Salakangas. The shot deflected off the body of his own man, Alroila. Salakangas still somehow maintaining possession. Now Tito Salakangas, Ilmari Lehtinen, close wing. Cross court deflected by Anderson Carlson. Hiltunen, Salakangas deflected by Liljegren, going to the ground for that steal. Lehtinen to Salakangas. Minnesota not taking the shot yet. At the point, Jeep Alroila. From deep off the body of Liljegren. He'll force it to the boards and get it to his man Anderson Carlson, deflected off the body of Jeep Alroila. Alroila to Lehtinen. He'll go back out to Mile Monthaler. His second line back out for the Growlers. Just over 14 minutes remaining in the third period. Both teams still scoreless in the third. Lehtinen down to Korhonen. He'll chip it out of bounds. Texas 39ers hit in. Jönsson goes to Lindgren. Down to Moser. Far side to Lou. To Lindgren at the point. Lou, the shot from deep. Chipped up by Korhonen, out of bounds. Kempa Rosen set to take the hit in for the 39ers. He goes down to Lindgren at half court. In center, Lou to Rosen. Unable to break it out off the boards around Lehtinen. Now Bjernanen vying for it against Lindgren after Lou chipped it down. He'll come from behind. Lou able to come away with it. Backing off here. Off the boards to Lindgren. Back out to Henrik Lou. Powerful shot from deep. Goes high over the goal. Hit in here for the Growlers. Julius Salakangas coming through the crease. It's Alroila, far side. Looking deep, deflected out of bounds off the stick of Tim Anderson Carlson. Alroila on the hit in here for Minnesota. Chipped out again by Anderson Carlson. History does in fact repeat itself. Alroila on the deja vu hit in. Salakangas deflected there by Anderson Carlson. Jansen to Anderson Carlson on the wing, chipped up by Hiltunen. But Liljegren has it on the close wing. The spin to try and create space. He needs support. He'll pass it down. Finds Anderson Carlson. Shot off the body of Salakangas. Up in the air, Lehtinen. Unable to come away with it. Fludmar boxing him out. The pass to Paulbrand. Far side, Anderson Carlson. He has a little bit of space on the wing. He's going to pause with it. Instead, off the backboards. Behind himself, it goes to Paulbrand. Down to Fludmar. In center, Janssen to Liljegran. Posturing for the shot. Goes off the legs there of Salakangas. Tuukka Hiltunen now. Coming around, Fludmar. Chipping it to Janssen. A smooth move takes him to the corner. Behind himself, he'll find Fludmar. Paulbrand to Anderson Carlson, losing control on the sweep shot. He'll look for Jonsson at the point. Fludmar going back for recovery. New line out for the Growlers. Moser in front of the crease. He goes far side to Henrik Lou. Back down to Moser. Cross court, Lindgren. Driving down, he's pushed back behind the goal line by Marthaler. He'll go out to Lou on the wing. The half spin, it's deflected off the body of Björninen. Lehtiniemi driving down, chipped away by Moser. Björninen still coming away with it on the boards. But Lindgren off the support there. He'll draw a free hit for the Texas 39ers. Moser in Lou. Down to Moser. Lou sends it down to Lindgren. Looking close. Jonsson shot attempt saved by Pasi Arvinen. Holding on to it, he'll roll it to Tita Salakangas. Driving down the close wing. A spin around. He'll send it back deep in his own territory. Valtteri Rantala now. The pass to Auroila. Down around the bend, Lehtinen to Auroila, just saved off the body of Derek Moser. Another one chipped by Liljegran. Auroila, Salakangas looking for Lehtinen. Anderson Carlson able to keep him away off the contact there. Fludmar to Liljegran. Behind himself to Fludmar. Texas in desperate need to get their offense working here. They've gotten a few good looks this period, but unable to convert on anything so far. Pasi Arvinen has had great reactions and great instincts this period against this Texas offense. Auroila passes it off to Marthal. Marthaler pausing here. He'll go far side. Korhonen. Now down to Björninen, back behind himself. Finds Lehtiniemi. Down off the boards, looking for his brother Eetu Lehtiniemi. It's him against Paulbrand once more. Juuso Lehtiniemi shot into the hands of Nicholas Larsson. Paulbrand far side for the 39ers. Fludmar. Paulbrand down to Anderson Carlson. 10 minutes remaining in the third period, officially in the second half of the last regulation period. Here, Texas still facing a narrow one-goal deficit against the Minnesota Growlers. But all it takes is one. Liljegran backing off the boards, finds Janssen in Minnesota territory, back to Liljegran. He'll have Paulbrand far side with Anderson Carlson to spin around. Anderson Carlson going to the ground. It's going to draw the free hit, able to get back up on his feet. They're going to take quick time there to mop off that area of the court. And with that, Texas set to resume play. It'll be Kemper Rosen and Peter Lindgren. Lindgren to Lou. Down to Moser. Back around to Henrik Lou. Moser once more. Cross court to Lindgren. Unable to find a good look. He'll hold on to it. To Rosen, chipped up. Around behind the goal, Julius Salakangas with the angle around Rosen. A pass behind himself. Deep to Salakangas now for the Minnesota Growlers. Far side to Auroila. 9 minutes left. The Growlers know how effective the Texas 39ers can be in transition play. That's probably one of the major reasons why they're being so defensive with the ball right now. Auroila, pass deep to Lehtinen. Boxing out Moser, he'll pass back down. Salakangas to Auroila. Currently Minnesota heavy on the close wing. Hiltonen now flexing to the far side. Lehtinen at half court, back to Jeep Auroila. 8.5 minutes remaining here in the third period. Both teams still scoreless in the third. Neither able to gain offensive traction. Minnesota, of course, looking to extend their lead, and Texas looking to nullify it. Both teams bringing out new lines to the court here as it'll be a Minnesota ball. Björninen to Juuso Lehtinen. Back down to Björninen. A spin back around. He'll find Juuso Lehtinen. Janssen coming from behind. Off the boards. Rantala sending it there. He's able to stick the possession. He'll come down to Björninen. The shot off the ankle there of Oscar Liljegren, sailing out of bounds. Minnesota hit in, 8 minutes left. A reminder that the victor of today's semifinal matchup between Texas and Minnesota will advance to the Troy Cup final tomorrow. Korhonen, a body block of the Anderson-Carlson shot. Lehtinen sending it down the boards. Korhonen looking for Rantala for the shot attempt, unable to convert. Mothaler to Björninen. To Juuso Lehtinen. Back to Björninen, taking it behind the goal. Korhonen unable to get the chip shot attempt off. Anderson-Carlson to Liljegren. Janssen saved by Pasi Arvinen. A crucial save there by Minnesota on what was a very clear look for Albin Janssen. Keeping the 1-goal lead alive here as they look to advance to the Troy Cup finals tomorrow against the Fresno Force at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time to determine the champion of the 2024 NAFL season. Lehtinen to Tita Salakangas. Back down to Lehtinen. Off the boards. Finds Salakangas behind himself to Auroila. To Hiltonen. Down and around to Tita Salakangas. Looking across, a save by Larson on the Hiltonen attempt. Lindgren will pass behind himself to Lou. Moser now. Down the line. Across to Jonsson, deflected off the body of Julius Salakangas. Rosen losing control. Lehtinen using it to try and break the ball out of Minnesota territory, but Rosen not letting up the pressure from behind, forcing Ilmari Lehtinen to spin around to create some separation on the far wing. He'll come back down to Julius Salakangas. Kyle Mothaler now on the close wing, second line returning to the court. Minnesota has shortened their lines all game today, looking to keep themselves absolutely competition ready. Juuso Lehtinen behind himself to Korhonen. Less than 6 minutes remaining now in the third period. Minnesota thankful for every second they can hold on to the ball here in these last remaining seconds and minutes of the third period, because every minute that passes with Minnesota maintaining possession is another minute that they've staved off the dangerous Texas transition game. All it takes is one counterattack, possibly this one here, for the 39ers to equalize. That ball just deflected by Korhonen. Still, Paul Brand with possession here for the 39ers. Over to Anderson-Carlson. Chipped away there by Mothaler. This Minnesota defense has been locked down all third period. Paul Brand, far side Anderson-Carlson. Chipped up there off the stick of Mothaler. It'll roll out of bounds. Hit in here by Liljegren for the 39ers. Fludmar to Paul Brand. Down to Liljegren. It's good! The Texas 39ers equalize. On the wing, the Texas 39ers put one away. With just over 5 minutes remaining, it's back to a tie ball game. It was off the Liljegren hit in. It came back to Liljegren. He didn't hesitate when it found him on the wing from mid-range. And off the Liljegren goal, 5:08 remaining in the third. This just got interesting. Your score, Texas 39ers 6, Minnesota Growlers 6. Both teams getting set for the faceoff. It's going to be William Yilson against Julius Salakangis. Recovery by Minnesota on the faceoff, rolling all the way to Pasiarvinen, who passes to Yipa Roila. 5 minutes remaining officially in the third period, and after what a defensive matchup this has been in the third period, it's going to be curious to see whether or not Minnesota or Texas can get the offensive traction necessary to come away with a lead. If neither team is able to come to a lead by the end of regulation play, we'll move to a 5-minute sudden death overtime. And if both teams survive the overtime, we'll go to a 5-round penalty shootout. Now Roila will pass behind himself to Salakangis. Downtown Roila. Tita Salakangis now chipping the ball back into Minnesota territory. Down deep, looking for Roila behind the goal line. Behind the Texas net. Roila, the pass to Tita Salakangis at the post line. Julius Salakangis from deep, deflected off the body of Lindgren. He'll lose sight of the ball, still able to slap it back down into Texas territory. Hit to the boards by Lindgren. Lindgren against Salakangis. That's going to draw a foul. Free hit here for the Minnesota Growlers. Tita Salakangis getting set. He'll pass it in center to Ilmari Lehtinen, who will take it back as he subs out. Second line on the court here for the Minnesota Growlers. Far side, Etelätanimi to Korhonen. Cross court, finds Juuso Lehtinen. Björninen facing 2-on-1 pressure. Still able to come away with it on the boards. Advantage granted here to Minnesota. He'll send it down to Juuso Lehtinen. Rolling deep in Minnesota territory. Janssen not pursuing here for the 39ers. 3.5 minutes remaining on the clock here in the third period. Still a 6-6 ball game. Björninen. A spin around. Deflected off the foot of Janssen. It'll come back to him from Liljegren. The pass behind himself to Fludmar. Is now the 39ers going to look to draw down. Lindgren on the court. The pass to Anderson Carlson. Back to Lindgren, down to Fludmar. Liljegren, close wing shot attempt off the legs of Juuso Lehtinen. Chipped out of bounds. It's going to be a Minnesota Growlers hit in. Anderson Carlson not happy about that call. Roila set to take it in the far corner. 3 minutes remain in this tied semifinal matchup. Only one can advance. The other season will end here today. Tuukka Hiltunen behind himself to Yipa Roila. Looking down deep. That floater into the hands of Nicholas Larsson. Lindgren on the far side coming out for another shift for the 39ers. He'll pass off to Paul Brandt. 2.5 minutes left on the clock for either team to try and come away with a lead. Lindgren to Lou, to Jonsson, back to Lou. Shot wide left behind the goal, out of bounds. It'll be a Minnesota Growlers hit in. Minnesota is no stranger to this kind of tight semifinal matchup, of course, when they faced off against the Fresno Force last season in the semifinal. It was a 4-4 match in the third period until 7 seconds left on the clock when Edvin Nilsson of the Fresno Force came down with a go-ahead goal to end the Minnesota Growlers season. With that experience under their belt, they'll look to try and prevent that from happening here today. Tuukka Korhonen, far side, Etelätanimi. The sweep off the legs of Lou. Rosen with a fast break attempt. Unsuccessful off of Björninen's speed on the defense. 1:45 left on the clock. Björninen taking his pause here. He'll pass it off to Julius Salakangis. 1.5 minutes on the clock. Is Minnesota's first line back out on the court. Roila on the far wing. Back down to Salakangis. Over to Roila. Chipped away by Anderson Carlson. Janssen over to Anderson Carlson in the corner. Looking to make something happen here. He needs someone to pass to. Intercepted by Salakangis. He's got Lehtinen cutting down deep from the wing. He'll look for Roila, who is just a few steps too late on the pass attempt. 1 minute on the clock. Alroila in a battle on the boards in the corner. He's in a deadlock against Janssen as they both nearly go over the boards. It's going to be a face-off in that far corner after the boards went down and the ball rolled out. Paulbrandt against Salakangas. Lehtinen chipping it down to the close boards, but Lindgren able to come away with it. Chipped behind himself, Liljegren coming down, far side. Carl Paulbrandt, 40 seconds on the clock. Peter Lindgren holding it at the point. What is Texas going to try to do here now that they have possession right before the end of regulation? Liljegren with Lindgren. Far side, Paulbrandt. Texas keeping the ball in the backcourt here. 20 seconds left on the clock. They may be trying to wait out the clock and wait for a last-second goal opportunity. Or they may be waiting for overtime as we hit 10 seconds left here. Now Liljegren going to come up with it. Lindgren far side to Paulbrandt. Back down to Lindgren. 5 seconds left on the clock. To Liljegren, the shot no good. Saved by Pasi Järvinen, and this game is going to overtime. Floorball fans, I don't believe it. This semifinal matchup between the number 2 seed Texas 39ers and number 3 seed Minnesota Growlers is going to go to a 5-minute sudden death overtime. Both teams going to take a few moments to discuss strategy. We'll be right back in just a few moments with that overtime period of action in the Troy Cup semifinal. Floorball fans, after that intense end to regulation play here in the semifinal match between the 49ers and the Growlers, we're joined here by Lyle Marthaler, number 28 of the Growlers. How are you feeling after that third period?
Yeah, especially today it's very warm in the hall and everybody giving their best and it's very rough fight. Of course it's semifinal, nobody wants to lose, and it's also a bit tactical game. Nobody wants to do the wrong thing, and yeah, it's going to be a hard 20 minutes now also, I think, yeah.
Now, as you look forward to overtime, what do you think is going to be the key to stay ahead and try and come ahead with the win?
I think we are always great when we have like our control and play like just our game, doesn't focus on the opponent, just play our game down, and I think that's going to be the key, like just play calm, and then I think we're going to score the goal and win that game.
And Lyle, what's personally your emotion? Obviously, it's been a hard-fought match, and it's for a chance to go to the Troy Cup final tomorrow. What has that been like for you, your playoff experience?
Yeah, it's a great chance. I think you know, or you feel now it's not just a normal game, it's a playoff game. You feel it like on a game, it's a hard fight, and for me, I like that game, so I'm really looking forward to the next 20 minutes.
Well, Lyle, best of luck as you get ready for overtime. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Floorball fans, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few more minutes with the exciting conclusion to this match between the 39ers and the Growlers. Troy Cup playoffs start now. Well, welcome back, Floorball fans, to what is the first overtime matchup in NAFL playoff history between the Texas 39ers and the Minnesota Growlers. The playoff overtime format here in the NAFL, we had to go to the rule book for this one, is 20 minutes of sudden death overtime periods in successive rounds until there is a winner. It's going to be an interesting one here against two teams who have played so well, not just in this game, but against each other all season. Every time these teams have met, it's been an interesting matchup. We saw in that third period that it was a very defensive period between these two teams. The only goal scored was Texas's equalizing goal with just a few minutes remaining that made it interesting. Minnesota was unable to score against Texas in the third. We'll see if Texas is able to carry over some of their momentum here into the fourth period overtime. Deflected there by Marthaler. Anderson Carlson coming back around to Lindgren at the point. A reminder that the winner of this match advances to the Troy Cup Finals tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, where they'll take on the Fresno Force to become the 2024 NAFL League champions. This year has been our most competitive ever between our teams. We're seeing that in real time during this overtime matchup between the number 2 and number 3 seed Texas 39ers and Minnesota Growlers. Yesterday, the Growlers were able to come away with a 7-3 win against the 39ers. Earlier this season, they won 6-4 the first time they met in Clarksville, Tennessee. But Texas has come out with grit and determination today. Carl Paulbrandt pausing in the center lane. He'll send Fludmar in motion. Close wing, Lou. Back out to Paulbrandt. Lou goes cross court to Lindgren. Down to Paulbrandt. Lindgren comes down to Paulbrandt. Over to Lou. Anderson Carlson. Looking for the sweep. Deflected by Yipao Roila. Now Bjernen driving down. He'll spin around looking for a man to pass to. He'll go to Julius Salakangas at the point. Shot from deep. Deflected off the body of Lindgren into the hands of Larson. He'll go to Carl Paulbrandt. Paulbrandt goes over to Lindgren. Lindgren taking his time here, calling his man in motion. Close side, Anderson Carlson. Driving down, just saved by Pasiodvinen, but another goes in. The Texas 39ers going wild. Able to come away with the win in overtime. The Minnesota Growlers in utter disbelief after the rebound there by Anderson Carlson. The ball got chipped into the net. The Texas 39ers come away and what was perhaps the most narrow game we've seen this entire season. Your final score here, live from the Duluth Entertainment Convention Center in Duluth, Minnesota. What an end to our day of semifinals. We're about to head down to the court for the man of the match. And as we get ready to go into the Troy Cup Finals tomorrow, it's going to be the Fresno Force against the Texas 39ers, the number 1 seed versus And with that, Juuso Lehtiniemi, the man of the match for the Minnesota Growlers. Tim Anderson-Carlson, man of the match for the Texas 39ers.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Both teams will come to shake each other's hands. It's the end of the Minnesota Growlers season in heartbreaking form as they once again lose in a close last-minute matchup in the semifinals. That just means they're going to come back next season even hungrier to make it to the Troy Cup. Meanwhile, for the Texas 39ers, their miracle run continues after starting off this season going 4-0 compared to 1-9 during regular season last year. Now, the 0-hero in its final stage. The rags to riches story is the Texas 39ers go to take on the Fresno Force tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time in a battle for the Troy Cup. Floorball fans, we hope to see you then as we determine the victor and champion of the 2024 NAFL season. Until then, Floorball fans, I've been your host, Tanner David.